Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video doing USA broadcast for today's video. So as always on a Wednesday, we're having a look at the weather for next week, 10 days and beyond for the United States. It's all going on in the tropics, so we'll begin looking at that, and then we'll look at the wider scene across America, and we'll have a look at CFSV2 for the next 4 weeks as well. So, yeah, this is your Wednesday USA forecast. I shall get on with that for you in a second. Just say about the first video released today was our 7 AM broadcast. We've also released a video looking at the Green Man Festival. Last update for that. Got a 10 to 14 day coming up later on this afternoon. And tonight we're going to have the third and final Winter 2021-2022 preamble. So just a couple of weeks away now from winter updates, and the final preamble to get you ready for the winter updates will be released at 7 PM this evening. Please like, share, subscribe on all of the videos. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, let's crack on. See what's happening in America. Well, in the tropical part of the Atlantic, it's all happening, to be honest. So we've got two tropical storms, and then we've got Fred inland in eastern America. So this is, let's start there. This is Tropical Depression Fred, giving maximum sustained winds of 25 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 1,011 millibars. This is bringing lots of heavy rain to those central eastern parts of America. It's going to carry on moving northwards and will go post-tropical at any point. You know, it'll happen sometime today as it's losing its energy and identity over the land of the United States. But will bring further heavy rain and probably thunderstorms to that eastern and eventually northeastern part of America, because it's going to carry on pushing northwards. Right, we'll have a look at Grace next. So this is Tropical Storm Grace down here. I don't think this one's going to impact America directly, but we'll have a look at it anyway. This is Tropical Storm Grace, giving maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 998 millibars, moving westwards at 60 miles per hour. Clicking on Grace and going here, you can see this is being forecast to become a hurricane. Category 1 hurricane, moving on to the Yucatan Peninsula by sort of tonight into tomorrow morning. As it pushes through the Yucatan Peninsula, it will lose some energy and go back down to a tropical storm. But then in the Gulf of Mexico, as it re-emerges from Yucatan and moves on into the Gulf of Mexico over the at the end of the week and into the weekend, it will probably power back up to a Category 1 hurricane and slam into Mexico there as we go through the weekend. So that's going to bring impacts to southern parts of America. South America will be impacted by Grace. And then we also have Henri just here. I think it's Henri, not Henry. It looks like it's sort of the French the French spelling with an I rather than a Y. So I'm pronouncing this Henri. I know some people pronounce it Henry, but I think that is like the French pronunciation, Henri. So that's how I'm going to pronounce it. But whatever it is, there is Tropical Storm Henri just there. It's giving maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 998 millibars, moving westwards at 8 miles per hour. Clicking on Henri. This one's quite interesting and could bring impacts to the far east, northeast of America. So this is going to go to a Category 1 hurricane as well. So current position is just there. It's going to push sort of northwards through the Atlantic as we go through the end of the week and into the weekend. Now you'll notice there is a wide cone area with this. A usually large, I think, cone area. So on the far western side of the cone area, we are very, very close to the eastern seaboard of the states, particularly the northeastern states. So for example, you know, Connecticut, we're very, very close to running this into Connecticut on the very, very far western side of this. Of course, there is a wide cone area, so on the eastern side of this, we're out in the middle of the Atlantic and will be no problem for America. But that one needs to be kept very close on, because potentially it could clip in to this far eastern, northeastern corner of America. New York, Connecticut, those sort of areas, Maine, they might get an impact from this. New Hampshire, another state that could get impacted by this. So I think National Hurricane Center will be keeping a very, very close eye on Henri. It's going to be, going to go to Category 1 hurricane if the forecast is correct. So yeah, it's just a question of whether that gets close enough to the East Coast or not. Latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net looks like this. So we can see where Fred is losing its identity inland over America. Of course, this is the east coast of America. You see that's Florida, Gulf of Mexico, for example. There's Grace down there heading for the Yucatan Peninsula. And this is Henri just here to the west-southwest of the Bahamas. So we're going to find that this is going to push northwards if the forecast is correct and go in that sort of direction, possibly getting quite close to the east coast of the United States. This is how the GFS midnight run is looking in terms of the tropical Atlantic for the next couple of weeks. So there's Fred there, there's Grace down there, and that's Henri just there. Let's run through them, see what's going to happen. So first of all, we see Grace moving into the Gulf of Mexico. This is Friday. Grace is moving into the Gulf of Mexico, heading towards Mexico itself. Fred sort of dying a death in the far northeastern part of America, but bringing some heavy rain, making thunderstorms, and that is Henri just there. Now watch what the GFS does with Henri. Develops it further. It's a Category 1 hurricane status now, 967 millibars, and moving it northwards. So there is Henri just there, getting very, very, very close to the eastern seaboard, or the northeast seaboard of the United States of America. Henri could give an impact, and that's what the GFS does. Actually gets Henri onto the northeastern eastern seaboard of the United States there. It's Category 1 hurricane, so it wouldn't be the worst but they've had in that part of America, but would be nasty. Category 1 hurricane going to give maximum sustained winds of at least 75 miles per hour, and there will be copious amounts of rain with that as well. So that looks nice. The other models are not bringing Henri anywhere near as close as that. You'll have a look at the, we'll have a look at some model output, a little bit later on in the video. Other models are not bringing Henri as close to the east coast of America as the GFS is doing at the moment. But obviously, the potential is there for quite a significant impact. So that needs to be kept very, very close on. Now, we're into the early part of next week. Things looking a little bit quieter at this point. But as we go further on to the end of next week, we're getting more development areas. So there's another one here appearing in the Gulf of Mexico. There's something just there off the coast of the Carolinas as well. These are potentially more tropical storms and or hurricanes. So that one, I think it's a tropical storm, could be a hurricane, moves into the Gulf Coast as we get through to 29th of August. This one, again, very, very close to the East Coast of America. Maybe this is going to be one of those seasons where these storms, do menace the East Coast. Not every season by any means brings these storms to the East Coast of America. A lot of time they'll keep them out of the Atlantic or move them through the Gulf of Mexico. But sometimes you get a season where you do get, one after another impact close to the East Coast. So maybe this will be one of those years. That one doesn't actually get to the East Coast, but it does get very close to the eastern seaboard. We're a long way out now. We're at the end of August, by which point there's another hurricane, by the look of it, or certainly tropical storm, that's around the Caribbean just there. So active period. Now we are moving in towards the peak of the hurricane season now. This is getting us to the 3rd of September, by the way. So September is like the peak of the hurricane season. There's something happening there around Cabo Verde as well. That might be a disturbance area that's beginning to get going. So we're heading towards peak hurricane season. There's a lot going on right now, and there's going to continue to be quite a bit going on if the GFS forecast is correct there. Right, these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. We're looking at Hartford today in Connecticut. So, of course, if we bring Henri to that eastern seaboard, Connecticut is one of the states that will get impacted. Have a look at Hartford in Connecticut today. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Hartford, and we're a warmer average at the moment. It's been very warm summer. Not as hot in the east as it has been in the west and the northwest, I have to say, but it has been a very warm to hot summer across much of eastern, northeastern America. The next week, 10 days, will keep the temperature significantly above average. There is a drop in temperature, though, appearing as we get through to the end of August and the beginning of September. So maybe the first sort of, not chill, I don't suppose, but maybe the first sort of drop in temperature of the autumn, or as you would call it, as the fall, might be on the way by the end of August. But certainly next week, 10 days, looks pretty hard. More significant is precipitation. So the precipitation we have here is associated with the dying Fred, of course. So that will, it's dying a death, but it is going to bring further heavy rain and thunderstorms to much of eastern, northeast America over the next 2 or 3 days. And then these precipitation spikes, of course, are going to be from Henri. And you notice some very dramatic precipitation spikes are there. That one, for example, is going off the scale. Others are not going quite as dramatic as that, but nevertheless, they are pretty big precipitation spikes, as you would expect if you're bringing a Category 1 hurricane onto the eastern seaboard of America. Not every GFS ensemble member is bringing Henri onto the east coast of America by any means, but there are quite a few that are doing it. So again, just a case of watch your space on that. And then into the final week of August, that's pretty unsettled again. These precipitation spikes might be that next sort of tropical storm, tropical development that the GFS was showing, getting quite close to the east coast of America in the closing days of August. So that one again might bring some heavy rain onto the east coast. In any case, there will be quite a lot of heavy showers coming through. Temperature anomalies from the 18th to 26th of August, generally warmer than average in most parts of America, but you'll notice that the far northwestern states are actually a little bit cooler now. So where it was so extraordinarily hot earlier on in the summer, things have reverted to a more sensible level of temperature. Otherwise, quite a warm scene, particularly so from the Midwest and up towards the northeastern part of America too. Precipitation-wise, it's dry on average on the west coast. Varying from state to state, really. Dry on average on the west coast, moving inland in towards the Rocky Mountain states. Pretty wet through there. Quite dry around the Great Lakes, but wet, in the east and in the northeast, as you expect, if you've got tropical developments close to the east coast. Not particularly wet through the Gulf states, looking quite dry there. So, as I say, Grace is not going to impact the southern part of America directly. That's going to go more in towards Mexico. Right, let's have a look at some chart data then. So this is how the GFS midnight run for today. So there's Fred, of course, just there, dying death. Still notable that Fred is there, but is weakening quite dramatically. It's cooled down in the far northwest. So have a look at the upper air temperature, you can see it better. So it has cooled down in the northwest, where it's so extremely hot a few weeks ago. Things are much more sensible there now. The hottest weather is like from the southwest America going through the Rocky Mountain states in towards the Midwest. And then these eastern parts of America where we've got Fred, just very warm, very humid, with lots of heavy showers and thunderstorms going on. Into Thursday and Friday, we look like that. So there's Henri, just there. You'll notice GFS is getting Henri towards, or moving Henri towards the east coast. Otherwise, there's a ridge now in the west. We're losing Fred. Fred's gone up to here and is, just an area of low pressure now, moving up towards Newfoundland. A ridge is building through west part of America. This trough of low pressure probably brings much cooler air, cooler fresher temperatures and heavy showers and thunderstorms to these western parts of America. The far west is dominated by a ridge out towards the Pacific, which is sort of omnipresent ridge at this time of the year. The main focus here is on Henri, so you can see that as we move through the weekend, Henri gets very, 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 very close to the eastern seaboard. There he is, as a Category 1 Hurricane Menacing. the eastern seaboard. Go further west into the Midwest, into looking drier through there with this ridge, and then we've got low pressure out towards the northwest once again. The GFS does bring Henri onto the eastern seaboard, as we saw a moment ago at Tropical Tidbits. So there's Henri coming into these northeastern states, dramatically weakening. Of course, this is a very long way north, so it won't be able to sustain hurricane status very long, particularly as he moves inland, very quickly dying back to a tropical storm and then post-tropical, but nevertheless bringing a direct impact to those eastern seaboard states with torrential rain, of course, a risk of significant flooding and very significant wind impacts on the east coast. Again, bear in mind, otherwise are not bringing Henri onto the east seaboard like the GFS does there. Right, so that gets into the upper next week. There's the upper air temperatures for Monday. So still pretty hot really across most parts of America. Obviously, where we've got Henri, if it does go onto the east coast, that will cool the temperature down because rain has a cooling effect. But generally quite a warm, hot scene across most parts of America early next week. We get rid of that particular area of low pressure, and we start bringing something a little bit cooler in from Canada into these northern states. So this is like the first push of cooler air, perhaps autumnal sort of feeling air out of Canada into these far northern states. I don't think it'll last all that long, but a little bit of a cool down begins to take place in the north and northeast later next week. We saw it on the ensemble graph for Connecticut. Cooler air coming in from the north and from the northeast through the second half of next week with this ridge of high pressure just here, area of low pressure marking boundary between the warm and the cooler air might trigger thunderstorms in the northeast from the second half or through the second half of next week. But look how much cooler the upper air temperatures are into this sort of midwestern and eastern, northeastern part of America. Definite cool down takes place. It's the first sort of drop in temperature, quite significant drop in temperature of the fall. Meanwhile, further west, it's very hot through those western states. That carries on and will carry on for several more weeks there. States like California, Arizona, Nevada will continue to be baking hot, of course, well on into September. Now we go through the weekend, and this is Saturday 28th of August. That's probably a tropical storm heading onto the Gulf Coast. This is another tropical development close to the eastern seaboard. Both look like tropical storms, to be honest. I don't think they are hurricanes. They look more like tropical storms. But nevertheless, they're both, in that southern eastern part of America and would bring further impacts. That one actually does wind itself up a little bit more as we go through to Sunday, 29th of August. So again, off the eastern seaboard, developing into, looks like quite a significant feature. That might be up to a Category 1 hurricane at that point. Meanwhile, that second one is moving inland across those southern parts of America. And then beyond that, into very extended range with the GFS, we then get a ridge building over these eastern states that settles things down and starts turning things hotter again as we draw the air up from the south. So let's get to the 3rd of September, things much quieter in the eastern part of America. The hottest temperatures are like in the west and the southwest, but most parts of America are actually looking very warm to hot again as you get through to the beginning of September. So that cool down late in August in the north and northeast doesn't stay more than a few days, as you wouldn't expect it to do at this time of the year. Now, this is the ECM, the Euro. I wanted to show you this because it does not bring Henri into the eastern part of America like the GFS does. So there's Henri just there, nowhere near as developed on Friday. That's the dying thread up here, of course, but Henri nowhere near as developed as the GFS has it. However, the National Hurricane Centre is going more with the GFS, I think, in terms of getting it to a Category 1 hurricane. That will still be like a tropical storm, I think. So the ECM might be downplaying, the strength of Henri at that point. And it just doesn't take Henri into the east part of America at all, really. So there's some sort of a trough through here, I think. That might be a very, very undeveloped Henri through Sunday and into Monday, but looks nowhere near as impactful on the Euro with Henri as the GFS is doing. So it's not guaranteed, but those northeastern seaboard states will get an impact from Henri. But it needs to be watched, I think, and National Hurricane States, I'm sure, will be doing so. Now, through the course of next week, we do start to draw in some cooler air into these northern states by the middle of the week. Rest of America still looking very hot. Whoops, where are we gone? We'll go back there. Rest of America still looking very hot as we go through into the middle part of the week. But later on, this area of low pressure here pushes through Canada and does draw in some cooler, fresher air into some of these northern, midwestern states. And that cooler, fresher air will try to push into the east, well, probably triggering thunderstorms as it does so. Really hot weather continuing, of course, out in the west. That's how it looked by day 10, which is Saturday, the 28th of August. So heavy showers and thunderstorms in the east and the northeast as you try to cool down and just baking hot still in the west, really. Right, last thing we look at is FSV2. So these are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period is going to take from 17th to 23rd of August. The coming week has this ridge in the northeast, trough low pressure in the west and in the northwest, and then high pressure off the Pacific coast. Of course, this ridge will draw up a lot of very warm air from the south, and we know that Henri might move towards that eastern seaboard. Into week 2, it's going to be the 24th to the 30th of August. High pressure in the south then, and away to the northwest and also to the northeast. Up here, and then lower pressure coming through here. So it looks a little bit more unsettled for northern parts of America, and probably a bit cooler as well. Week 3 builds this large ridge across these northern and northwestern states. Now, there might be a trough of low pressure through here. It's a little bit inconclusive, but that might be a trough of low pressure through there. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 7th to the 13th of September, with a ridge away to the northwest, and also, interestingly, in the southeast. And then possibly a trough through here, maybe. So potential anomaly for week 1 looks like that. It's the 17th to 23rd of August. Much cooler in the northwest now. Things much more comfortable in the northwest. And generally, these western states actually rather cool. The hottest temperatures are in the east and in the northeast in the week ahead. Week 2 is the 24th to the 30th of August. Rather cool in the northern states, hot through the central and eastern, southeast parts of America, and also in the southwest too. Week 3 sees the hottest weather now in the north and northeast, interestingly. Coolest in like the south and eastern part of America. So it's very week by week, really, this. And then week 4 is 7th, 13th of September, looking hottest in the north and the west again, coolest in the east and in the southern part of America. Precipitation-wise, quite unsettled, quite wet in the week ahead for these northern states, and also in the east and the southeast. We know that Henri is getting very close to these parts of America, and that might bring lots of head rain with it. And of course, we've got the impacts already from the decaying thread. Week 2 is the 24th to the 30th of August, looking wettest in the south and through the Midwest, quite dry in the far northeast and out towards the west as well. Week 3 is the 31st of August to the 6th of September. So quite dry through Midwest and into the north, a little bit wetter through the southern states, near normal elsewhere. Notice quite dry in the Caribbean and, into the Gulf of Mexico as well, and in the tropical Atlantic. So sort of areas you would expect there to be activity, looking quite dry, actually. And then we get through to week 4, which is the 7th to the 13th of September. And again, it looks pretty dry across these northern states, a little bit wetter, perhaps in the southern states. But in the far southeast, like through Florida and again into the Caribbean, into the Gulf, looking relatively dry through there. So peak hurricane season looking quite dry, actually, where you'd expect to see, lots of precipitation, sort of Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, tropical Atlantic. All those areas actually look quite dry, which is a little bit of a mystery because we are expecting a relatively big season. So I don't know whether the CFS, I don't know how well the CFS will pick up on tropical developments 3-4 weeks out in any case. So we'll watch this space on that. And of course, the GFS is right. We have a lot to be going on with over the next couple of weeks. Right, that's it then. So, of course, the immediate concern is going to be how close Henri gets to the eastern seaboard America. The ECM not really interested in doing much with Henri. GFS much more progressive in bringing Henri onto the east coast. So that's the immediate concern. And then sort of the long-term concern over the next few weeks is going to be what happens further on through this tropical storm and hurricane season. If you enjoy this USA forecast, then please can you like the video, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. You'll be able to see more USA forecasts every Wednesday at GavsWeatherVids. So give us a sub and like. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. We'll be back later on with a 10 to 14 dayer for the UK and for Europe as well. So come back for that then. For this week's USA forecast, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.